Bada boom, bada bang, bada bop. We are back today with the top 5 race shoes for 4-hour marathoners. Welcome. I know a lot of people have been asking me to put together this video because I had a video I did last summer with the same list, but lots of new releases have come out, so I'm highlighting all the updated shoes that you should consider if you're in that 3:45 to 4.5 hour marathon range. Now, if you're looking for a race shoe, you're in the right place, but an even better place would be the Supwell app. It's my app, and it's the best buy, sell, and trade marketplace out there. The reason why it's such a good place is because you can find deals on running shoes. So somebody might get an Endorphin Elite 2, like we have here, put a few runs on it, decide it doesn't work for them, and then list it on the app for well below MSRP. Also, if you're on a budget, there's shoes like this that maybe someone did run a marathon in and they just saved it up for that race. It has 26 miles on and they list it for super well below MSRP. So best place to find deals. Also the best hobby jogger community out there. People getting after it, putting in work. So get in with us, save money on running shoes, join the best gosh dang hobby jogger community, and enjoy today's video. Listening to Boldy James Rome Streets collab. It's only on YouTube, so I had to download it on the YouTube MP3 converter. Something like YouTube TOMP3.NU. Those websites that will give your computer viruses. It reminds me of the old school LimeWire days when I would just sit there trapping on the streams on LimeWire before streaming services. So I got it on my phone right here. It's fire, man. But look, it doesn't even have the, let's see if I can show you. It doesn't even have an album cover or anything. It's just in here with the blank album cover, weird song title. I got it on the phone though. Straight flames. It's only 16 minutes long. Hopefully they add it to streaming so we could run up the streaming numbers, but really good. Boldy James Rome Streets. It's called Manhunt. Anyway, we're gonna do best 4-hour marathon shoes today. A lot of people have been asking me for this. I do a lot of these lists also. So I've still been training. I did a 7-mile tempo yesterday, and then I did the best top 5 shoe brands video. I got a nice 10-mile run in this morning, but I had an early meeting, and the lack of AC in my house has just been grinding me down. So just an added layer. So doing a list today, keep things light, and then we'll be back on the grind. I don't know when, but a lot of people are asking for these videos. So 4-hour marathon, you're gonna be out there, 26.2 miles, significant time on feet. The things you should look for: comfort, stability, and some sort of fun or bounce or propulsion. Those are the things. But the top, and it's not the same for me too. I'm training for a 2.5-hour marathon, but that's what I look for. I look for comfort, I look for support, and then I look for the speed. But I don't want to go for the fastest possible shoe for the marathon, because man, whether you're out there for 2.5 hours or 4.5 hours, that is a long time, and you're not going to be able to run with your maximal top end speeds for a few hours. So marathon shoes, you want them to have good stack, good cushion. It's just a fight to get to the finish line regardless of how fast you're going. The other thing is, at the 4-hour mark, there's some people who are going to want the carbon shoes. There's some people who are going to want more of the training shoes. So with that, I wanted to cover the different preferences people might have in this video. Let us kick it off with an honorable mention. So I want to include mostly the newer releases because this is the 2025 update. I did the same video last year, but I had to give a shout out, honorable mention here to none other than the magnanimous, the glorious, the marvelous, the magnanimous Puma Magnificent Maximum, aka the Mag Max. This is my highest mileage training shoe of the past few years. If you've watched this channel at all, you'll know I love this thing. 200 miles, absolute tank, great foam in here. It's bouncy, and unlike all these other shoes here, they're all plated, they all have the race foams. This is a non-plated shoe. Yes, it's super tall and it has some sort of a rocker, but it feels more normal than a lot of the race shoes out there. So if you want something that is not the craziest shoe, if you're training for a 4-hour marathon and maybe you're used to running in Bundis or a Vomero or a Brooks Glycerin, and you want something that's a step above that, but you don't want to go full carbon or even plastic plate, the next shoe I'll recommend has a plastic plate. But if you don't want to do any of those, and you more so want a comfort, reliable, workhorse style shoe that still has the fun and the bounce and the benefit of modern technology, that would be the Mag Max. I have personally done, I think, up to a 3 hour and something long run, and it's great. This is just one of those shoes where once you get it going, once you get up to an hour or 90 minutes, it just wants you to keep singing and turning over those legs. That's the honorable mention, Puma Mag Max, $180. Let us get into the top 5. Now, I will go from most comfortable. They're all relatively comfortable, but most comfortable to most aggressive or fastest. So with that, let us start it off with the Mizuno Neo Vista 2. This is my favorite long run shoe of 2025. This has been my replacement for the Mag Max, and it's sad because now with all the newer releases, I feel weird running in a shoe once it's up at 100 miles. It's almost like I get a shoe up to 100 miles, and that's my duty on this channel. If it's a good shoe, I have decided to keep the 100-mile review around. So if it's a good shoe, get it up to 100 miles, put out the review, let you know how the durability is. The durability on this thing is great. I even got Charlie, my wife, a pair of these. She's been doing half marathon training, and it's her favorite shoe now. So she loves it, I love it. But at 100 miles, it's weird. I just can't run in this anymore because there's other shoes. You know, I would be stealing miles from another shoe that should have that 100-mile review, right? So this morning, for example, I would have loved to run in this because it's just a 10-mile recovery or aerobic run or run at a relaxed pace. So I did the Hyperion Max 3, and that's a great shoe. I call it the mileage cheat code, but up at around 8 flat pace, which was my run this morning, I'm more so jogging than running, and I was wishing for something slightly more comfortable than the Hyperion Max 3 like this. I just wished I had this on my foot, but very comfortable shoe, super soft midsole with a plastic plate. And the cool thing about this midsole is, yes, it's super soft, but it is a super critical TPU, so it is very resilient. It does not get too mushy. Plus you have the plastic plate and a firmer layer of foam on the bottom, which means that you're gonna have some support, and it gives it more of a robust feel than other soft squishy shoes like a New Balance with that fresh foam. So stands up well to time on feet. I did a 25-mile day in this, which is about 3 hours of running. I've done a 17-mile long run. I've done a bunch of high mileage tests. I think I did a 25-mile day and a 22-mile day or something. Just love this shoe for high mileage. It also has a nice wide fit up here. So if you typically go for a 2E shoe, sounded weirdly close, he wasn't. If you typically go for a 2E shoe, you should be able to fit in this. If you have a standard size foot, you might want to go down half a size. I did not. I went in my standard 10.5. I definitely could have gone down half a size, but for me, this is a shoe where I'm just cruising along. I'm not trying to dig into the forefoot and pop off and drive power, so it's okay that it's a touch bigger. So that's just a sizing note. Other things, stability, it's actually not terrible. It is a softer foam, but it's not terrible, especially if you're running a marathon that's more of a wider course and you're not going to be doing a lot of turns. You should be okay. If you do have any prescriptive stability issues, I will suggest one other shoe here, or I would go for the Mag Max. The Mag Max almost feels like a stability shoe with how much it's cradling your foam in the back. So if you have a lot of stability issues or just consider yourself an overpronator, probably not the pick, but if you're more of a neutral runner, awesome shoe. So this is the one to get if you want comfort. It's going to be a great long run training pick. Doesn't feel the fastest compared to the other ones, but it's the one that for me, I always feel like my legs are fresh at the end of the run when I'm running in this shoe. It's just such an easy shoe to stack miles. So if your number one concern with the marathon and picking a shoe is comfort, boom, Neo Vista 2. All right, next up. No, there's a guy with the truck who just stopped there, so I was just confused. All right, second most comfortable shoe. Now we're getting closer more in towards speed, so we're going for a carbon plated shoe. This is the New Balance SC Elite. The one I'm holding is the V5. I actually wanted to include the V4, not the V5 on this list. The V5 would be a solid option too, but I gave away my V4. I gave it to my friend Jim, who just ran the Ultra. So either the V4 or the V5, but I'm gonna talk about the V4. So the V4, it has a wider base, same exact foam in here, very stable. That's a better pick than the Neo Vista 2 if you need any stability. It also, you can now get it for under $200 at a lot of places because this one released. And this shoe, it feels faster, it's lighter weight, they've trimmed down the platform in the new version, they've made it more aggressive. It still does have a lot of comfort on the upper, and it could be a good pick if you want a faster shoe for the race and are a smaller runner targeting a 4-hour marathon because it doesn't have the most absolute robust feel, but very comfortable, very fun. But if you want a wider fitting, just stable cruiser type shoe for the marathon, I would highly recommend the New Balance SC Elite V4. You can't go wrong with the V5 either, but it is tuned more for speed. I know the main launch event they did with this before it came out was, or just promotion, was Alex Yee. He was one of New Balance's athletes who ran a 2:11 marathon it. I've done marathon pace training in it. My marathon pace right now is around 5:40 per mile, or my goal marathon pace, and it feels really good there. Whereas the last version, I would not have taken that out for marathon pace training personally. I just didn't like how it felt. But I did love that V4 for long runs, for the comfort. It felt like running on a mattress in the best way possible. So if that's what you're looking for, not the bounciest, not the most aggressive. It's also not as soft and smooth as the Neo Vista, but if you want the capability to have that pop off the plate and you don't mind that bigger floaty boaty feeling, I would go for the SC Elite V4. All right, next up here, we're moving up in the aggression rankings. Brooks Hyperion Max 3. I was just talking about this thing. This is a more aggressive version of something like the Hyperion Max 3. You get the race foam on the top, you get the plastic plate in the middle with the training foam on the bottom. Really good shoe. I called it the mileage cheat code. It's just a shoe that encourages you to run longer. It also encourages you to pick up the pace some, and there's some great pop off the forefoot. Not the most comfortable shoe out there because you do have that plastic plate, and unlike the Neo Vista 2, which has a very roomy upper, the upper on the Hyperion Max 3 is super low volume. I don't have a high volume foot, at least in the midfoot. I never feel like shoes are squeezing me too much or anything in the midfoot. Sometimes I can feel narrowness of toe boxes, which this also kind of has, but with this one, man, getting it onto my foot is a fight, and then just the tightness of the top of the toe box here is a fight. Once I'm out there, it's okay, but that is just something to note. If you have a higher volume foot, I would pass on this and go for the Neo Vista or go for the SC Elite V4. But if you do get this, what you can expect is a highly cushioned ride that is also bouncy and fun. So the formula here is they're not going for the lightest weight, most aggressive or racing shoe. They're not trying to make this a Vaporfly or a Sky Tokyo or an Alpha Fly. So they're allowing it to have a broader base, they're allowing it to have more foam, but the foams that they have put in here work really well for speed. So it's a heavier shoe, but once you get it going, you get all the bounce. I've done some faster training at it at 6 flat. It's gonna have more than enough speed for nearly anybody out there. It's not a slow shoe at all. So you get the max stack protection, and then you get the speed. So this one is a nice blend. That's why it's coming in at number 3. It's the great blend of speed, and I don't even want to call it comfort because it's not an actively comfortable shoe, but a great blend of speed and long run capability. It's a really good pick for going long. It's not uncomfortable, but it's not comfortable either. It's just one of those shoes where there is some uncomfortable elements of putting it on, but once you get out there, it will just tip you over, and any of that will outweigh the issues with it. Also, very durable shoe. I was saying this yesterday, but our guy Grant from Supwell Social got this up to 500 miles. All right, next up, number 2 on the list of aggression to speed. So this one would be the second fastest pick. We have the, boom, I don't know if people are expecting this, but the Tracksmith Elliott Racer, or even the On Cloud Boom Strike. Again, I want to highlight some of the newer options to come out this year versus last year. On Cloud Boom Strike would also be a great option to fill this slot. Very similar format to this. You have the drop-in insole on the top, soft and bouncy foam, and I've just loved this shoe, man. Very similar to how I loved the On Cloud Boom Strike last year. Just a shoe that I can put a lot of miles in. So it is a carbon plated race shoe, but it has a more flexible carbon plate than even a lot of the training shoes, right? So I guess the Neo Vista is pretty flexible. Oh yeah, this is the stiff one. Look, yeah, look at this. Oh gosh. Yeah, this is what I'm saying about the Hyperion Max 3 not having the most comfortable platform. You can feel that rigidity of the plate sometimes. You can't feel the plate, but you can just feel that it's a stiffer shoe. And compare that to the Elliott Racer. So this is another one that's going to be good for light touch runners or runners who want a soft and bouncy type of ride, a floating along type of ride. It's an awesome shoe for training. It feels so nice to just go out for something like an 8-mile run or a 10-mile run in the Elliott Racer. It's so gentle on the legs, easy to run in, you just clip them over. So if that's the type of shoe you're looking for, it's almost like if you took the Neo Vista, lightened it up, and made it the most aggressive version of itself, that would be the Elliott Racer. That would be a pretty cool 1-2 punch for training and racing right there. You might want to add in something lower stack or simpler, but if you like the idea of max comfort, these are two of the best options on the market. Elliott Racers maybe number one when it comes to midsole comfort if you like soft and bouncy foam. So if you're out there for 4 hours, it's all about the comfort. This is one of the best in the game. It is on the more expensive side. I think it's $280, but a lot of the race shoes are right up there. That is the same exact price as the Cloud Boom Strike. All right, number one, the most aggressive. Not a personal favorite of mine, but a favorite of a lot of people out there. The last version of this holds my current marathon PR. It is the Saucony Endorphin Elite Dose version 2. Saucony Endorphin Elite 2. So this is the version of the shoe with the new Incrediron foam. It's the very soft. I've been saying the Neo Vista is soft and the Elliott Racer is soft. This is next level soft, man. This thing completely collapses in on itself. If you're going to be twisting and turning a lot in your race or have any stability issues, I would not get this one. But if you are seeking the ultimate and a fun, comfortable, bouncy race day experience, this is going to be a nice pick. It is a divisive, controversial shoe. Some people like me have found that they can feel the plate and don't love it and think it's too soft. I have gotten some good runs out of it though. It's definitely not a race shoe for me because I don't like pushing power. But then other people really like it and they say they can't feel the plate. They just love the soft floating along experience. So it's really going to depend. This is a shoe where I can't tell you for sure with certainty whether or not it's going to work for you. All these other shoes that I'm recommending, I have a good sense of how they'll work for somebody else and if they will like it or not. This one is more of a wild card. So if that's what you're looking for, if you're looking for that wild card experience, also if you want the latest and greatest in marathon racing technology, this is the one to get. Because again, people at every different time range. Some people, they just want something that's going to work. They just want a workhorse shoe. They'll run all their miles in a Pegasus or a Ghost. Others, they have a 17 shoe rotation, or they're interested in trying the latest and the greatest in tech and seeing what's out there. So that's what this thing is. Other things to think about here, weird fitting toe box. You might want to go up half a size. I was getting crushed in this. This is the only race shoe where I've gone up to a size 11 because in the size 10.5, the toe cap here, you can see there's legitimately just a plastic piece. The rest of the upper is stretchy and flexible, and there's just a hard plastic piece here that was digging into my toenail on both sides. So I went up half a size after I had that bad experience in the 10.5. The other thing, the upper is pretty lightweight. You do have this interesting collar experience in the back, but it's really all about the Incrediron foam. So if you're looking for, again, just incredibly soft and squishy race day experience, this would be the one to get. I've taken it on it's either a 20 or 22 mile long run. I did take it on a long run. It was on Father's Day, and I was actually out here in the same shoe talking about it. Or not same shoe, in the same shirt, because I got this shirt for Father's Day. I was out here talking about it, and my family came and they brought me donuts. And it was a really nice ride for those 20 miles. For me, I was floating along at more of a mid-range pace, so 640 pace, not an all-out assault on my marathon pace, also not a recovery pace, and that 640 pace is likely the pace that I could sustain for 4 hours. So I'd be using the mechanics more similar to a 4-hour marathoner, and at that pace it did feel good. So this is a fun one to try. I would try to see if you get it from Running Warehouse or somewhere else that has a good return policy, because again, it's not going to work for everybody, or see if you could pick up a pair on a deal on the Supwell app, or if you pick up a pair and it doesn't work, resell it on the Supwell app. But yeah, a fun pick, and also the most capable of speed out of all these. Elliott Racer had the carbon plate. I actually think SC Elite V5 for me, not the V4. V5 would be the fastest option, but I know again, if you're running a 4-hour marathon, a lot of your workout paces are going to be 7-minute paces and 8-minute paces, and I know a lot of people have really enjoyed this for that. It's just going to come down to, do you like super soft or not? So if you're in the soft camp, boom, boom, boom. Neo Vista 2 for the utmost in comfort. I would go Elliott Racer for a good combination of comfort and speed, and then the Saucony Endorphin Elite if you want the ultimate marshmallow. I would go Brooks Hyperion Max 3 if you don't want something super soft squishy but you want an aggressive ride that still has stability and some comfort, and then SC Elite V4 for just a well-rounded race type of shoe that could go long, has the stability, doesn't feel super soft but is not a firm shoe either. And then you could also throw in the V5 in there. I've just been absolutely loving the V5. Great training shoe. It's a workhorse race shoe with a fun, snappy ride on the front. So there you go. 5 best shoes for 4-hour marathoners 2025 update. If you are a 4-hour marathoner and you're watching this video, please let us know below what shoe you have been using for your long runs and what shoe you've used for previous races. If you're in the 4-hour range, or even if you're in the 3:45 to 5-hour range, let us know. It can be helpful. I appreciate you. Hopefully my AC is back on today. It does look like we're gonna get some thunderstorms. That's not good. Does that mean they can't install the AC if there's thunderstorms? He installed some of it, but then he had to drive all the way across town for parts. I mean, look at this. I'm not a meteorologist, but it doesn't look too good to me. No, it doesn't.